Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So Joe Biden was finally announced to be the winner of the latest presidential election, and guys, this is going to have a big effect on the cryptocurrency market. I found some information here that I wanted to share with you guys today. So this first one from XRP Crypto Wolf, and this is great just off the bat. Biden expected to hire crypto-minded Gary Gensler as his financial advisor. So this coming from Decrypt. A report from the Wall Street Journal yesterday showed that U.S. presidential candidate Joe Biden is considering tapping Gary Gensler, the former chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission under Obama, to advise on tackling Wall Street oversight. This coming from the Wall Street Journal. Gary Gensler taught a course at MIT about how Bitcoin and blockchain could be used in finance. He also penned an op-ed for CoinDesk. And as Biden cinches the presidency, adding Gensler to his roster suggests that pro-crypto regulation could in italics be in the cards. Cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology have already prompted real change. This is coming from Gensler's op-ed from CoinDesk, and they continue to do so, and may be a step up from the incumbent president Donald Trump, who tweeted last year that he's not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We have only one real currency in the USA. So maybe this is going to be good for cryptocurrency adoption in the United States specifically. It's also interesting to note that though Biden may hire Gensler to reign in Wall Street, Gensler is very much of that world. He spent nearly 20 years at Goldman Sachs in the 80s and 90s before joining the Clinton administration as Assistant Secretary of Treasury. So very, very interesting news there. This is shaping up to actually look fairly good for cryptocurrency regulatory clarity in the United States of America. We've also got this with regards to Joe Biden and how this could affect Bitcoin price, at least in the near term. So analysts are taking a closer look at how the Biden presidency may impact traditional markets and Bitcoin price, and they've isolated them to three factors. So three key factors to consider are the eventual passage of a new round of economic stimulus, a strengthening U.S. dollar, and the possibility of a stock market recovery. So economic stimulus, first of all, this would be the second round. So the second round of stimulus could positively affect Bitcoin because it significantly relaxes the financial conditions in the United States. It would also uplift the U.S. economy and in turn stimulate investor appetite for high-risk assets. The perception of Bitcoin has evolved from a risk-on asset to a safe haven asset and an inflation play in recent months. Despite this, there are still multiple instances where Bitcoin price moves in tandem with the stock market. So in the absence of appetite for risk-on assets, Bitcoin price can still rise. Now, there's also the rising U.S. dollar, and this kind of doesn't really make sense to me. But if the Biden administration approves the stimulus package, then the U.S. dollar will rise. The Eurozone, as an example, saw the euro rapidly surge after passing a major stimulus proposal. The U.S. dollar has been underperforming against reserve currency since March. Consequently, it aided the recovery of gold, Bitcoin, and other alternative stores of value as they are priced against the dollar. I see their argument there, but not too convinced about that. As such, there is a possibility that a second round of stimulus and improving investor confidence could initially have a positive impact on the price of Bitcoin. It is also important to note that over time, the strengthening dollar could apply additional selling pressure on Bitcoin and gold. That is kind of a little more, when the US dollar is weakening, people are losing confidence, especially Forex traders around the world. This is when you tend to see money being poured into alternative currencies like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But anyway, that's a sidebar. So stock markets may rally now that the election is finally resolved. There's also this. Analysts also anticipate the U.S. stock market to recover following the confirmation of the election results. As we did see a slump back in August and September, though, now that things are fine and clear, some analysts are suggesting that the stock market will rally. Now, of course, there are other analysts suggesting the opposite. They were assuming that if Trump got back into office, the stock market would continue to rally. And now that Joe Biden is in office, there is going to be uncertainty. Will the policies change? And so investor confidence may dwindle. But here they're suggesting following the conclusion of the 2020 race, there is less uncertainty in the markets, and this could allow stocks to recover alongside other risk-on assets. In terms of regulation, compound Compound Finance's general counsel Jake Chervinsky said Biden has not expressed any public stance towards crypto. He wrote, President-elect Biden hasn't said anything publicly about his views on crypto. For now, it really isn't a big enough issue to warrant his attention. The next 4 years of U.S. crypto policy depends on who he appoints to key positions. So that is why this kind of thing is important. Hiring crypto-minded Gary Gensler, as I had mentioned just a few minutes ago. Very interesting news there. And we're going to keep an eye on Bitcoin price, see how that does as the days go on. Now, guys, there was also this, Brad Garlinghouse, obviously, tweeting out this tweet, democracy wins regardless of who you voted for. It's incredible to see the historic voter turnout this election. Congrats to President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. It's time to come together and turn to the many challenges that lie ahead. Remember that video I did the other day with Mickey B. Fresh's insight on this? I'm glad he retweeted this in this tweet thread because it does show you that there is a ripple connection to the Biden campaign. I will link that video up here in the top right-hand corner. Right, it was this. The Biden administration is close to Anja Manuel, who is also, that's right, who had also officially joined Ripple's board of directors back in August 2017. So that's very interesting, but Brad Garlinghouse here obviously staying very, very neutral, and that was picked up on by Shere Khan. Brad did the right thing here by positioning himself as neutral. Remember, as a company like Ripple, you cannot run a one-sided approach in either direction and then shut the door behind you. Furthermore, XRP is an independent asset, so hodl on XRP community. You have to be neutral when you're running a company like Ripple for a lot of political reasons. You know, you don't want to alienate anybody. And I get why Brad Garlinghouse is doing this. And of course, we have seen evidence on Twitter from Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz that they are, well, at least they're alluding to the fact that they will do better under a Biden administration, perhaps with regards to the regulatory clarity for cryptocurrency. Maybe they will see more clarity as opposed to continue to have to wait for the clarity while the rest of the world moves on. Interesting to note there. Shere Khan also mentioned, ask yourself, what benefit would Brad Garlinghouse gain for Ripple if he sided against the Biden one etiquette? Probably none. We have our opinions about this, and I'm sure Brad does as well, but this is about keeping the company afloat and thriving. Correct. Very, very true. Now, something that XRP Yo-Yo picked up on, which I thought was very, very interesting. Coincidence or not, this was Christine Lagarde's tweet. I congratulate President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, the first woman to serve as Vice President. I sincerely wish all the best to both of you, tackling the tremendous challenges that lie ahead. And Brad Garlinghouse in that last tweet, congrats to the President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. It's time to come together and turn to the many challenges that lie ahead. It could be just a coincidence, but using the exact same sentences in a tweet with regards to this, maybe one of them copied the other. I mean, maybe they saw their tweet on Twitter, saw what their friend did and just copied. I think, though, that there is probably something more involved with this. I think that a lot of this stuff has been coordinated from the beginning. It's just a matter of time for the cryptocurrency regulations to come to pass, and then we will see an onslaught of activity. Mark Milkey down here, I love it when a globalist plan comes together. Yeah, it seems like that is exactly what is happening. So Joe Biden winning, maybe he wasn't your selection for president, but on the other hand, you got to think of the bigger picture and cryptocurrency adoption. This from Michael at Val5. Links on Twitter. Would Bitcoin and crypto benefit from a Biden administration? Industry leader analyzes the potential impact. So this is a interview with Kristen Smith, director of the Blockchain Association and board member of Crypto-Friendly Political Action Committee, HODL PAC. She reveals how she sees the crypto industry changing under the Biden presidency. And she says, as we look to the Biden administration, if that is what we're dealing with, I actually think the combination of a Biden administration with a Republican Senate, which I think is where we're going, that is really, really good for crypto, and there are a couple of reasons for that. Smith says that though the Trump administration had its benefits, a Biden administration could act as a blank slate for crypto lobbyists and proponents. She goes on to say the Trump administration is a little bit mixed. We have Hester Peirce and Brian Quintense. They're great, but we also have Secretary Mnuchin, who's not that big of a fan of the space. We also have Trump himself, and we have Jay Clayton, who has been a skeptic. They've been standing in the way of getting something done. So she comes right out and says it. So as we look to the Biden administration, we're hoping to get crypto-educated regulators in key positions at the SEC, the Security and Exchanges Commission, of course, the CFTC, and the OCC, and doing what we can to try to influence those choices. And so Biden will play an important role in picking who those people are. Combine the scenario with a more moderate and business-friendly Republican Senate, Smith says crypto-related legislation could flourish. Smith goes on to say because we have a Republican Senate, those choices are going to be much more moderate than they would have been if the Democrats take the Senate. Under a Democrat-controlled Senate, then the progressives have a little bit more to say, a say in who those people are. But if the Senate Banking Committee is controlled by Pat Toomey and Mitch McConnell's running the Senate floor, those guys going to approve of somebody that's too left-wing, and they're going to need Republican votes for their position. So she brings up some very, very good points here. Just going to finish off with this. I think that's good for crypto because the support we've had from the Democrats tends to be from those that are a little bit more open to business, a little bit more open to the private sector innovation, and I think that that is actually a winning combination, and there's potential to get some great regulators in those key slots. So guys, the Unconfirmed podcast is linked down here in the description of this video if you want to watch the full thing. The Biden administration, all right, even though Biden won't be president until January, some suppose, is already looking to be shaping up to be a very, very cryptocurrency-friendly administration, considering you've got a Democrat in the White House now, but the Republicans still hold Senate. Is this going to be the winning combination for cryptocurrency regulatory clarity? I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.